Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests.
I can't wait to see this.
Joining us this, what?
Go ahead.
Joining us today, we have Manuel and Geiszel Godoy. Or is it, what is it?
That was absolutely correct.
Yes,
Godoy,
it was.
Ha! In your face, G.
Okay, you know he's not good at. I was like, I can't wait.
Well, welcome.
Good morning, Manuel
morning.
and Geiszel.
Thank you.
How you
Good
guys
morning.
doing?
Doing
We're
awesome.
doing so good, man. This ain't even no joke.
I know, right?
The founders
This is
of
amazing.
Black Sands Comics.
That's right.
I love
Sands Entertainment.
I love seeing black comic people, man. Like I feel like this is a lane that not enough black people are in.
Oh yeah. Well, there's actually a whole bunch of people that's in this lane, right? They just never got the eyes on them. You know, if you go to a convention, you'd be surprised how many black people are there, like that are actual like independent creators. You know, we tend to be like the majority of the independent creators there. You know. So, we just haven't really had a chance to be, front and center.
Well, let's start from the beginning.
Exactly.
How did you get into the comic book world? How did you get into that world?
Animating.
And animating and all that.
Go ahead, Geiszel.
So this started back in 2016 when my husband, he wanted to make a video game called Black Sands. And so the production cost a lot of money.
Did you support him at first? Or you was like, yeah,
I
whatever.
did. He was like, yo, if this doesn't work out, I promise you I get a 9 to 5, work at Panera Bread somewhere.
This was his last rapper demo.
Exactly.
This was the last rapper
Yeah.
demo.
So it was really expensive to do the video game.
Oh yeah, it was like
very
20K.
expensive.
We had already
Yes.
burnt 20K. We had it was way too much when I realized that the final production would take so much more. And I was like, it's too early. I don't have a big enough fan base yet. I just can't get the money. So I was like, let's pivot. Let's make a comic book off the same series. We went to Kickstarter. And then we raised like $20,000, on a $4,000 Kickstarter, and the rest was history. After that, we just started running.
Yeah, people don't understand how expensive it is to do the animation and everything. I remember I hired some people I knew to do some animation for my podcast for Lip Service, and just for that 60 seconds, it was so expensive.
That manpower,
Yes,
I know.
It's like what 24 drawings per second, right?
Exactly.
So it can get crazy.
So you started. So you started making a series, and how did you get heard? Before Shark Tank, how did you get your stuff out there? How did people see it? How did you create a fan base?
Well, I'm a monster when it comes to social media platforms and also advertising. So if you even see my stuff once and hit the like button, the Facebook gods are gonna hunt you down for the rest of your life until you follow me, right? And so we started the online business about in 2017. Right at the end of the year, I had bought a kiosk in Hoover, Alabama. I was like, I'm gonna go and sell books right in the mall, right? And I sold like $6,000 worth of comics. It was great, right? But I was there all day, 14 hours a day, right? It was crazy, right? And online, in that same exact time, I did like 45,000 on Shopify, right? So I was like,
this doesn't make sense.
Why am I in this store?
doesn't make
Exactly.
It's a way
Yeah.
bigger reach online for you too.
yeah, it's been huge. Online is everything I do.
Because you can target certain people based on, you can really like use those numbers.
Yeah, and you know who your customers are.
Right.
It's hard to know who your customer is when you're like selling into Barnes & Noble or to a comic book shop. You don't know who actually bought your book, right? But when you're online, you know exactly who your audience is, and then you can start like laser focusing on them with your marketing strategy, right? So I talk to parents, right? I'm trying to convince the parent to buy the books. The kids love the books because it's basically like Naruto in ancient Egypt, right? The parents love the books because it's Game of Thrones in ancient Egypt, right? So there's two different looks at the same product, but it works for both of them, right? And I don't care about the comic book fan as far as like how I'm using my marketing strategy, right? Because then I'm a core customer in the first place.
Okay.
Let me ask you two basic questions. What is Black Sands Entertainment, the business, and what is Black Sands, the comic?
Yeah, so Black Sands, the business, is we focus on history before slavery. That is the main purpose of our thing. We feel like there's too much generic content out there for, everybody wants to make a superhero, right, or whatever, and we want to make stories about our ancient past in any way, shape, or form. So we got Black Sands, we got Mask of the Orisha, we got, Madagascar. There's definitely a lot of things in our culture that we've been missing out on, right? And then what Black Sands specifically is, the Seven Kingdoms, is a story about Asar and his rise to power. So basically, he's trying to prove to his grandfather that he could be the next pharaoh, but a war breaks out between seven kingdoms. Now it's up to him and his kin to save the world. That's my pitch.
Business-wise, how did a company like, say, Milestone influence what y'all do?
Well, Milestone didn't. Like Milestone kind of gave me warnings. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys because
I would hope so. What else are you there for?
Yeah, they did some things that were great, but they didn't have the tools that we have available to us today, right? They didn't have a social media platform to literally build their own audience. Because if they did, they probably would have made different choices. But they had to go do deals with DC.
Sorry, explain Milestone. I don't know.
Milestone is
Milestone Media.
I have no idea.
a black-owned comic. Are they still black-owned? Well, yeah, Reggie Hudlin founded them. Yeah, so they're a black-founded comic company. Okay. And they have, characters like Static Shock, who's probably one of the most popular black superheroes ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they tied up with DC. DC works with Diamond to go and distribute their books. Eventually, DC was like, the margins aren't there. We're killing the brand. Brand's dead. The Milestone has no choice in that matter, right? And they disappeared 30 years ago.
Wow.
So that was the fate of a lot of companies back then. You tie yourself up to a bigger brand or whatever, and then eventually, if they decided that today was your day to die, that was it. There's nothing you could do.
They did have some type of relaunch though.
Just recently.
Recently,
but, I mean,
like 2 years, like last year.
Yeah, like a 30-year like a hiatus.
Yeah.
Is like, that might have just been because of the Black Lives Matter movement.
So what got
And
you?
they want to make sure they're on the right side of history when they're doing that. So they're like,
yeah.
yo, DC, we're bringing back Milestone. You're like, so.
And I think I saw
Sometimes it's just a win, right?
And I think I saw Michael B. Jordan might be EPing the Static Shock movie.
I know. Michael B. Jordan's in a lot of stuff, so so you guys hands in a lot of different productions right now. So
How did you get to Shark Tank? Because I seen you on Shark Tank, and then you would, like you said, you're a beast when it comes to that Twitter, Instagram. So we seen your messages. So how did you get to Shark Tank, and how did that pitch happen?
well, the reality is they called me, so I got recruited.
Oh, Shark Tank called you.
I got recruited on that one. So they do have like scouts.
I like how you said that.
I'm
not chasing them. They recruited me. I was going fine.
I applied for 2 years and never got through.
I know.
Right?
Yes.
I guess it was just critical mass to the point where somebody was watching and said, this company's pretty dope. Right? So they called me, went through the process. I can't go through the process, right, as far as what they do. Right? But, it was a pretty crazy thing because I've always wanted to be on there, right? I was like, I run an exceptional business and I need somebody who's basically the kingmakers of business to validate me so I can finally get in front of the camera of the national news, right? I just need to be in front so I can show people what we've done.
Do you think the crowdfunding, because you guys did get $1 million in crowdfunding, so you think once Shark Tank saw that, was that after they called you after that?
It is, yes, we were already done with 2 rounds prior to that. So
right,
yes,
so they
that would
probably
be-
saw, okay, this is really lucrative.
Exactly.
And has a great, support base already.
Exactly. And plus, on Shark Tank, they never had like a black-owned comic book company on their show.
They didn't have comic books,
So
period.
this was something totally different from them. So they wanted something different.
Right.
Was it difficult to give up 30%?
Oh, yeah,
the
but
company?
you heard Kevin, though. Kevin was...
Now, did you know Kevin Hart was going to be...
I know he was going to be that tough.
Did you know Kevin Hart was going to be on there before?
2 weeks. 2 weeks before.
Yeah,
That's
2 weeks
it,
before.
So,
Because usually he's not there, but every once in a
Yeah.
while they have guest celebrity,
I was
sharks.
prepared. I was prepared to go into a panel with 5 white sharks because it happens all the time. Right?
Great white sharks.
If Damon's not there, so I was prepared, right? I was like, I might have to go into this with nobody really has skin in the game on this right here, and I'm just gonna have to go business. And when I knew that Kevin Hart was gonna be there, right? Because first they gave it to me in a funny way. They were like, just let you know Damon's not gonna be there, and I was like, oh man,
I know.
black guy.
Exactly.
I
Like,
said,
who's
dang,
going to be...
he's the excited guy, So I was like, all right, Kevin O'Leary, I got this, Kevin, I got you, right? And then, he's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be Kevin Hart though, and I was like,
I know.
I was like, we won, man.
Perfect.
I was just thinking in my head, I was like,
you
if
knew
we
it.
get him
We knew,
excited,
yes.
it's over. I don't have to prove nothing at that point. If he's excited, everybody else is gonna fall in line.
But was it
Prior
hard?
to that,
But
was
was it hard to give up the 30%?
Oh, absolutely. It was extreme. I mean, it went a lot
So
longer
explain the
than
deal,
what they
how
showed.
much-
Like they showed like 3 minutes.
Explain
it was
the deal
like
of
20 minutes.
how much he gave and the percentage you gave him. So
Because you
people that
offered
don't know.
5%.
Yeah. So what happened was, originally I was gonna do 10% max with a royalty on books, right? Nobody was interested in books. Well, Kevin O'Leary was interested in books, but the whole point was, he saw the movie. That's what he does, right? So he was like, "This is what I'm interested in. This is what I'm about to do," right? And he gave a really good, like, he was telling us exactly what he was gonna do.
Kevin?
Right? He was like, "Yeah,
He's the best.
Yeah, he was like straight
Kevin
up
Hart or
like
Kevin O'Leary.
no, Kevin Hart. So he was
Hart. Yeah.
Kevin Hart was like, this is this ain't no hypothetical, scenario in which you might get a show. He's like, this is what we're gonna do.
That's why he told him to edit it out.
I was like, I wasn't gonna fight him to death because we were already fatigued. Like I said, this went on for like 20 minutes. And I was like, I just gotta make this deal now. And, we still got due diligence and all the other crap in the future to go and, finalize the deal. So, we're still working on it, right? But we're almost done with our deal right now to close it out.
What did he give you on Shark Tank? What was it? What was it? The numbers on
it
Shark
was
Tank?
$500,000 for 30%.
Yikes.
For who Kevin is and who Kevin is becoming.
He's definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it.
Yes,
Now, question,
definitely.
would you have done that if it was 5 white sharks? Would you have given up 30%?
No, but I would have got the deal for 10% because Kevin O'Leary was in for that.
Yes.
Oh.
He said
Yeah, he
So
was.
Kevin the one was driving the
Like,
whole
I'll
bar.
take that deal,
Yeah, he
but I
did.
was like,
He
Kevin,
did.
no, I need Kevin too. I need Kevin Hart.
Now, let me ask you this.
Kevin Hart had veto power.
So
Yeah,
wait,
yeah, yeah.
Before you knew that Kevin was going to be there, did you know which shark you would have liked?
Kevin O'Leary.
Okay, so you knew that's.
I like his ruthlessness. So I'm a business guy. So I love the fact that he always thinks of ways that is mutually beneficial, right? So if you're getting a royalty on book sales, right, you want more books to sell, right? And that's my grind. So, 1 million, 2 million, 10 million books a year, that's something that he would want to achieve, right? So I don't care about that 25 cents because I have great margins, right? And so I was like, I think Kevin's going to bite on this, right? Now, I didn't know that everybody was going to bite on it.
I know, right?
Right?
Yeah.
But,
Well, Kevin O'Leary, you still were, and for people that don't watch Shark Tank or you just know the character, he's the white older guy with the George Jefferson haircut, right? With the side.
yeah.
Has a lot of money, but he's usually ruthless. Like
ruthless.
he throws obscene numbers. Like, I'll give you $500,000 for 90% of your company. He's usually like that. And when you watching all the Shark Tank, you still were like, this is the guy I want to work with.
This is the guy. Because he is all about, he doesn't care about whether he gets the idea or not. What he cares about
The
is
finances.
whether the
Money.
business
Yes.
is right, whether the margins are correct, right, and whether you're selling a lot of units to a customer. Because he already has like massive customer bases and I don't want to gas him up, right? Because I didn't get to deal with him, right? but he has like email lists of like 12 million people on it, right? Whatever, he can just do it.
So he offered you $500,000 at 10%, and you took the $500,000 for 30%. What
I
did
took
he
Kevin
say?
Hart.
Yeah, what did he say?
Kevin Hart and Mark
you didn't
Cuban.
take it
right?
out.
And Mark
Kevin Hart and
Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
And
Exactly.
And what
Exactly.
did O'Leary say to you? Because I know he cursed y'all out.
No, O'Leary was like, well, he even said it on the television. He was like,
Yeah,
there's
he said-
partners and then there's partners. Like,
Yeah,
like,
and if
this
he
guy
gets you
isn't
and he's
the
going to
normal
utilize
dude.
you and
Exactly.
make you'd rather give away 30% to
Well, I
make
got humbled
millions
at that
and millions,
moment. I got
100
humbled at that
million.
moment. I got
Exactly.
humbled at that moment.
Give
I
away
did. I got
10%
pumped
and
at
make 10
Exactly.
I got pumped in that moment, real talk. Like Geiszel knew it too. She was like, I fought and I just couldn't win it. I couldn't win it.
Exactly.
And then you think of the future, right? Because you think of other things that Kevin Hart could tie you into that might not even be
Movies,
this particular
Exactly.
right.
Yes.
The reach that he has.
Y'all don't-
Yes.
People.
Yeah, y'all don't realize how excited I am for y'all because, I'm a real big comic book guy and, people don't know how big the comic book business is. There was actually an article that came out recently and it's like how the comic book business is going to be worth like $12.8 billion by 2028. Like even the book sales of comic books have gone up over the past couple of years. I don't know if it's because of COVID or what. So y'all are in a great, great, great position. Who are some of the black creators, writers, illustrators that, y'all like and who influenced y'all?
Oh, who influenced us? So I do have like 3 major influences out there, and it's crazy that Kevin Hart was there because he was one of them just because of his. I like people who are bold. I don't like people who are successful. Like I like people who like do risky stuff to make it. Right. So him paying for his own tours, Tyler Perry saying, "Hey, if you don't give me the Goldilocks deal for this movie, I'm going to make it myself." Right. And then so they hate him for it. Right. But at the end of the day, he can do whatever he wants. Right. George Lucas being the only creator who actually like held on to his rights and licensing and merchandising. Like you look at the people who made Naruto, right? Kishimoto. This dude made, his net worth is like $40 million, right? And that's on the higher side of his net worth. He said Naruto makes $15 billion.
Right.
He ain't even making 1% of his.
Wow,
He drew this for 20 years and he ain't make 1%.
Right.
And he's considered a success story.
Wow.
Meanwhile, George Lucas is chilling.
Minding his
$6
business.
billion.
I know. Exactly.
Getting merchandise, all types of other stuff.
And of course Stan Lee too.
Yeah, Stan Lee's
they
of
call
course.
him
He's an icon.
They call my husband the Black Stan Lee.
Yeah, I kind of, trolled him about that a bit too. I was like, I like Stan Lee and all, but I ain't selling nothing, man. I'm George Lucas here. I'm holding on to everything. You know what I'm saying?
How do you think this will change the industry moving forward? Do you have plans for people coming up under you?
Well, we have a huge amount of people who are under us right now, under the brand. We have about 18 different titles published to Black Sands, including stuff like this one, right? And King Lion, he's a huge creator of ours on. He's huge on TikTok too, right? He somehow outdid me. I was like, I brought you on this platform. He was like, yeah, well, I am the master now. I was like, okay, you got me, man. I got the publisher right, so you good.
I think it's great, and the reason I think it's so great is growing up, I was never into comics, right?
Oh, I love them.
I was never into comics because there was never any comics that looked like me or my friends. So I always, you watch the movies that was about my friends, whether it was Juice and the drug dealer movies, because that's what I seen. So I think it's dope that these kids, especially black kids, can see, people that look like themselves in these comics. I never seen them.
And not only look like themselves, back in the day, it was all like street level superheroes that were black, So when Black Panther came around, or like when Kevin Griot made Blue Marvel, like those god level black characters, that's when it was like, so what you're doing is like, these are, god level black characters, not Luke Cage in the street getting paid Harlem for hire back in the day.
They're not even god level because they're strong, but they're kings, so they have to deal with the actual ramifications of leading a nation at the same time as taking on ancient gods at the same time. So it's a different kind of vibe. I got titles here who are actual just straight up historical dramas. And like Madagascar, Queen Wermavo, she was hated by colonial powers, and I was like, let's make that story. Right? I like slice of life in ancient times. I like those kind of things because at the end of the day, we never have it. It's like a genre that hasn't been touched. And if I could dominate this space, especially with the help of Kevin Hart and Mark Cuban, right, I can literally take up this entire genre, right, history before slavery or anti-colonial titles, and literally just gatekeep it. Like once I'm there, you can't tell us how to do it. Disney can't come in without working with us because it's already set in stone. Black Sands is that genre.
I almost don't want to put this interview up. I'm not lying, because I don't want nobody to even attempt to stop what it is that y'all doing. But I feel like, when God has his hands on something,
That's right.
And they've
it
already
can't
been
be
on Shark
stopped.
Tank.
I know. Shark Tank.
It's inevitable.
This is a deeper plan that I see the deeper plan that you're doing. Do you think there's difficulty for new comic book characters to break through with the Marvel and DCs having such a
I don't
big share
even
of the
try
market?
to compete with them. I see whenever somebody pitches me a superhero story, I say we don't publish superhero stories, and it's not just because it's another character in a costume with with powers, but the simple fact is the market is closed. They own 96% of the superhero genre. In fact, when they say superhero, they usually just mean Marvel or DC. So that's the inside lingo in the industry. So why would you try to compete with them? It's a weird thing. It's like trying to make another Star Wars. It's like,
Get your
So
own
true.
way.
You got to go somewhere else with the space angle. You can't do another lightsaber story and get it.
What about the people who are breaking off from the Marvels and DCs and starting their own studios? You think they got a chance?
They got a chance, but there's different levels of success, right? If you go on Shark Tank, you see it all the time. They say, this is a great business for you.
Yeah.
I don't see how we're going to be able to get our investment back and scale.
And that's what it
right?
comes down
So
to.
they're making a business for themselves because they want to make more money and actually keep what they create, right? Because like Stan Lee, $50 million, Marvel Comics, 20 billion, right? It's like how, right? Not even 1%. So they want to own. They want to own what they actually create, and they'll make $5 million, $10 million over the course of 5 or 10 years or whatever. It's great money for them. It's way more money than they got before, right? And they write their own destiny. For us, we want to go to $1 billion, so we're trying to make some
And
money.
let me ask you this, for your core fan base of people that have been supporting you since 2016, how did they feel about everything? Because you know how sometimes you love something so much, you don't want it to get out to everybody.
Right.
They said Kevin Hart is still black owned. That's it. They were
So,
scared that I was gonna lose power and I wouldn't be able to. So when they see Kevin Hart, they're like, okay, it's still black owned. We're still good to go, right? And more importantly, once I had to educate them as well, right? I'm like, equity is not control. I still have the super majority. I have veto power over everything.
Yes.
There's no profit sharing, so it's not like I'm losing 30% of my margin on sales. He said, you guys, this is a different kind of deal than what you guys might have perceived. And once you get that in there, then they understand that, oh, this is actually pretty dope. He's like, yeah,
right.
if I sell my company one day, they get 30% of that.
Right.
But I'm not selling nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but even if you do, who cares if you sell for $30 billion?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like once I get to that level, like the George Lucas level, where he's like, yo, I've been doing this for like 30, 40 years.
I want to
Doesn't
retire.
I just want to retire now.
Exactly.
You know,
Or create something else, because you could cash out and do something else.
So true.
The biggest black cash out is still Bob Johnson with BET, and people act like John Malone wasn't a minority owner of BET back in the day, and he was a white man. So it's like.
Exactly.
You have to.
You get the capital, you get the scale, and you do your thing.
Yeah, the main thing I care about is ownership. So like the reality is, I can have people who are very talented, who are doing exceptional jobs, but the owners, right? And that's the same thing for our publishing brand and stuff like that. When we're dealing with creators, even on the BSP Comics app, right? It's somebody on the ownership team, right? Needs to be black, brown, or indigenous. Has to be, right? And if that's not the case, then I just simply be like, I just don't see why I should do what everybody else already does, right? These people never get their opportunities to shine, so I'm giving them an opportunity to shine right now, right? If you want to collab with one of them, by all means, do so, and I'll bring you right on board, right? But ownership is king.
How does this work? So do you guys get the money right away on Shark Tank? Like when they're like, okay, I'm gonna give you $500,000.
Oh no,
we
it's still a negotiation.
So,
How long does that take?
it could take very long. Ours has gone on for about 4 months now, but we're
Okay.
done.
Yes.
We're like at the very
Exactly.
end of everything.
Yeah.
So you already know
Yeah.
what your first project is gonna be with them, or
Oh yeah, Kevin talked to me already.
Okay.
So
He's very excited.
He's good
Very,
to
yes.
and he didn't have to do that.
Right.
Exactly.
He didn't have to do that. He hadn't talked to me at all. So
You in business with the right person.
Exactly, yes.
that's who you want to be in
that
business
made-
with too. I think in particular for what you do, not just somebody that'll be concerned about numbers, but somebody that's really excited and
culture.
can also bring
That's
it
right.
to another level.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yes.
I believe that 100%. That somebody who believes in the cultural impact of it. I mean, think about it this way. Kids these days, when they go to school, right, they have like a list. They go to, I saw the ALA list, the American Library Association's list for like top 10 graphic novels every librarian needs in their school. And it'll be stuff like Guantanamo Bay. Like, what kid in the world?
I know.
I get it. You have an idea for what education is. But the main problem in schools, according to your own research, is not that the kids aren't reading educational content, is that they're not reading.
That's right.
Get them reading first and then put them in the right direction, right? But they don't care about that. They want to do what they consider is the right reads for the kids. Meanwhile, the kids go right home and read the next chapter of Naruto.
That's a passion of Kevin's too. Like trying to increase literacy amongst black and brown people, especially.
This is how you do it.
Especially kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Get them interested in reading first, and then you can give them, the Charlotte's Webs.
Yep.
They'll read that after.
Charlotte's Web was fantastic.
I know, but some
even
people would look
remember
at it,
Charlotte's Web.
especially nowadays, and be like,
I know.
Yeah.
Like, just with the cover, they'd be like, nah.
Well, give them all your information so people can contact you, follow you, and possibly purchase some of your books and comics.
Okay. Yeah. Blacksands.com. That's for our books. WeFunder.com just to research some of our past investment rounds. So we got a lot of investors. Geiszel, you gotta follow Geiszel on there as well.
No, CFO _Geiszel _ Godoy. So that's my Instagram.
For me, it's just Black Sands Entertainment on all platforms, right? And just join the movement, man. Be ready for the next investment round. That's all I'm gonna say.
And salute out any of the blurs, man. Any of the blurs that support y'all online that y'all may want to show some love to.
We got a lot of them. One thing, we got Macchiato, right? We got a lot of creators on our own brand, so we're gonna boost them up, right?
Word.
So Macchiato, they make amazing comics themselves. We got Mask of the Orisha, that's one they did. We got some patrons that actually are subscribers to us that we publish their titles because they won a competition. So we got Madagascar out there, Lions Game, a tournament in ancient Mali. It's pretty dope. Right, we got King Lion, huge creator. He does he's actually like the real comic book guy. Like, I'm not deep comic books like he is. He does death battles and everything. Huge guy you want to follow online. King and Queen Lion on TikTok, big guy. And just there's so many people out there that we got that are really making big moves, right? That aren't even like directly affiliated with us, but we just can't wait for them to go big. We got Monarchs. I'm
Monarchs.
talking to him right now. He's been working with me for years, working on comics that we've been doing together. working on our animations, and he got 2 series. One that he hasn't even come out with, a football series, right? And this stuff looks wild. It's like Saturday morning cartoons, right? It's definitely going to be a show one day. Hopefully we bring it to the market.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? But, right now he's not directly under us, right? He's more like featured comic on our app. But I'm still giving him a huge shout out here because, dudes put the work in.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Let's keep amplifying y'all's story, man.
That's
I want to get y'all on the Trap Nerds podcast too. Trap Nerds, they show y'all a lot of love and support. That's a black comic book podcast we got on the Black Effect Podcast Network, and they show y'all a lot of love. I want to get y'all on there too.
Okay,
Awesome.
sounds
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so glad we made this happen.
I know.
Oh yeah,
Thank you so
100%.
much.
This was
I
amazing.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much for bringing
Responding.
us on.
I know.
You're great on that social media.
I know,
but I did like the story. I did enjoy watching that, and I did feel like this was something that we wanted. I did it in the rumor report, so clearly I was paying
we saw that.
attention.
Yes.
And then I was like, yes, I would love to have you guys up here because if there's any way we can ever support, that's the plan.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man. This is a big movement. It's a cultural movement, right?
Yes.
We hope that we finally end the idea of, everything has to be about slavery, poverty, civil rights, some kind of trauma, some kind of struggle. We want something where people can be like, we want our slogan, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's literally the slogan for anybody who ever struggling. They're like, well, Rome wasn't built in a day. We need our Rome.
Exactly.
We got
do.
it. It's called Africa.
So we need to get that ingrained in people. And sometimes these slogans make all the difference in the world on our cultural belief in what we can be in the future.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
Well, Black Sands Entertainment, Manuel and Geiszel Godoy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's the Breakfast Club.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.